All right, we are live. Welcome into our show. It's Rex and Adam, and this is Silver Lining Podcast. Um, so we got a lot of stuff to get to today, and hopefully we can answer all your questions. This is a time that you can get on and ask us whatever you feel like asking us. We may or may not have an answer for you. We'll try to answer everything that we can answer, and we'll address things that we won't answer. So we'll get to all that stuff. But Rex, you have a list of things right off the bat that we're going to get to, right?
I don't want to try to cover all of them on the list, but I do want to make note that it is JJ's birthday, or as some people say it, his heavenly birthday.
Yeah.
Would have been 12 years old. So we love remembering, well, any of the victims, but especially Tylee and JJ. But Adam, can you imagine how excited JJ would be if we had a party for him? You know how he likes to be in those social situations with people he knows all around him.
Yeah.
What an excited look, and what's the word that goes with that? Just almost rambunctious, but very active little guy. How excited he'd be at his 12th birthday party.
I was thinking about that today because, I'm wondering what at 12, and he's kept getting more and more and more advanced with his autism. What he would be into at the age of 12 now, what would he be really wanting, and what would be his interest, and all those things. And as he gets older and growing, I would love to be part of that whole thing, watching him grow. And that's a hard thing to think about, that we're never going to get that chance to watch him get excited about birthdays anymore. And today's one of those days where it's a hard day to contemplate that.
It's hard, but a kind of a fun memory though, or a fun trying to project how we'd be reacting, because he is progressing so quickly verbally. And
yes.
So at this point, don't you imagine he'd just be
as
verbal as he is?
Yes. Yes.
And he would know, how most all autistic people just have an area of their life where they just outshine everyone around them. They're so gifted.
Yeah.
We'd probably see those gifts by now.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, and we could be amazed about it. So happy birthday to the little guy. Happy 12th birthday.
Happy birthday, JJ. Hopefully you're doing something fun in heaven.
Yep. And it is an unrelated note, but of course, Monday we have Memorial Day coming in. That's a favorite of my holidays, not to be gruesome about it, but I just love the idea behind honoring the people that gave their life, because, it's not Veterans Day.
Right.
Veterans are alive, like me. It's not Armed Services Day, people that are in the armed services right now, whom we honor. It's the people who gave the last measure, gave their life for our freedom. So that's always sacred to me. So I love it.
Do you do the push-ups? Is it today, or is it what day do you do the push-ups?
I do them every day.
Well, okay.
The 22 push-ups a day. I do 25. I'll tell you, I was awful. I had my surgery, getting fat and all that.
Yeah.
And boy, those 25 push-ups did not come like they did a few months ago. I'm back into it. I do 22 a day for the veterans that will commit suicide every day. Statistically, that's what happens. We lose 22 veterans per day to suicide. And then I add 3 more for Charles and JJ and Tylee. So that's my 25 push-ups.
Gotcha. So that's a daily thing, man. I wish I could do daily push-ups.
Well, yesterday I did upper body. In addition to that, those were rough push-ups this morning.
I was gonna say that's gotta hurt. How's your knee feeling after the surgery and everything? Everything okay?
Thanks for asking. It's fine. I'm old, so I'm falling apart, but it's fine.
This is what happens when you get old. Just things
just fall apart. I don't like to talk about it because No, none of us like to hear old people talk about all their ailments. You could go on and on. So
Just go down the list or whatever.
let's move on. But I will tell you, the harder it is to do those push-ups, the more I'm concentrating on why I'm doing them.
That's awesome.
Veterans, Tylee, JJ,
Yeah.
Charles.
Yeah.
And so the last three, I saved those three for last because those are the hardest ones. And it gives me motivation to try to get off the floor.
Yeah, that's great. So also with some house cleaning stuff or things that are going on with our podcast, last podcast, I announced that I'm going to be doing some coaching, and Rex and I also have some other platforms about healing and therapy and having people come on board to help optimists and help people that need help. So we're going to use our podcast for those things because we feel like, from what we've heard from so many people making comments, that everybody has something in their life they've gone through, and everybody could use uplifting or healing or support or love or whatever it is. So Rex and I want to use this platform for those things. And like I said, we have some things coming up that will also, I think, help a lot of people. So with my thing is helping people being accountable for achieving the goals that they want. And I mentioned that earlier, that sometimes, like Rex just said, as you're getting old, sometimes we use this thing where I'm too old to do this, and you're really not. Or I'm too young to do this, and you're really not. If you really want to do something, you should be able to do it. And the accountable program will help you achieve those things. And we're going to give you $20 off for Memorial Day weekend if you sign up for Accountable, and the link and everything is in the deal there, right there. Description. Yeah. So that's just one of many things that Rex and I are excited about coming up with this podcast.
Let me clarify something with that, Adam. The podcast, this podcast, what we do, and the regular podcast on Tuesday, we aren't doing the projects with that. The projects will be behind the Patreon. So only the people that want to spend money will be asked to spend money on programs or Patreon. The podcast will remain like it is. Now we'll talk about what's available because you do that with your friends. This isn't a product of the podcast. This is a product that Adam and I would have been into even if we weren't doing the podcast.
Correct.
We might talk more about that later, but the podcast will remain like it is, not charge anything on the podcast. We'll advertise on the podcast. And so in effect, we're advertising what's there because people want to know, especially our friends, and the people are very supportive of us. We're grateful for that. Couple people like to take shots at making money, off our relatives' deaths and all that. We just let that like water off a duck's back because we know that's not what we're doing.
Right.
We are pursuing professional ventures outside of this, and that'll be behind the Patreon.
Yeah, but make no mistake, our podcast is focused on healing. Since Rex and I have used this to heal ourselves, a lot of optimists have commented that they feel like they're on the road to healing from talking about it, from having some of the guests that we've had on, getting you some valuable information from Dr. Denham, and also from, Ben and Alice, and, even the book writing with Jane and different guests that we'll be having on. These are people that you can pick their brain and use them for those kinds of things. And so with that being said, we're obviously going to talk about the trial, which today we're going to talk a lot about what happened this week on the trial. And then when Lori has her trial, we'll be involved in that as well. I probably are actually going to be in that trial, which, hopefully I won't have to be, but we'll see what happens with that. But, our podcast is about healing and having people feel loved, having people feel supported. That's our basic message here.
And understood. Yes.
And understood. Yeah.
In fact, let's show this. Vintage Girl 901 said this. Can you read that, Adam?
No, I can't.
Your family is our family. It's crazy how much I think about Tylee and JJ. A lot of posts on the Facebook group also about that.
I saw that somebody has a picture of Tylee and JJ in their office. I mean, this is how much this story has affected so many people. And we appreciate that, and they should be remembered and loved.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we mentioned Veterans Day, and Renee Michelle is a Marine. I know normally Marines don't say former Marine, once a Marine, but I was in the Air Force, Renee. So I know we're supposed to make digs at the other services, but I love the Marines. You go to where you love all the services. You really
right. So Veterans Day, Memorial Day are different, but still similar.
In that we're honoring people who served in the armed forces.
Yep.
It's just I consider myself I have two classes. There are veterans like me. I served. I'm proud of that service. When people thank me, I appreciate that. But I did not put up with what combat veterans put up with, like Ben, your cousin that we've had on the show.
Yes.
That's different when people had to deal with, like the law enforcement people. They aren't military veterans, of course, but the law enforcement people that had to dig up parts of Thailand, that dug up JJ, and will be forever changed from it.
Yep.
That's stuff like combat veterans that people just shouldn't have to see in this life.
Yeah.
Let's see what else.
Agreed.
Yeah, we have. We better keep with the starred questions here, Adam, because we are behind already.
All right, let's get to the questions. If you guys have questions, make sure you get on YouTube and let us see what these questions are, and we'll try to answer the best that we can.
There are a lot of comments about Emma. Of course, a lot about Emma and Chad's son. Sorry, Garth. Name slipped my mind. A lot this week because they testified, and of course there was cross examinations, and now there are rebuttal witnesses that will continue. And so let me say this at the beginning before we start talking about them, because a lot of us are upset because they seem to be less than truthful. How's that for understating and trying to be diplomatic?
Okay, that's good.
Okay. I want to say this. In fact, let's follow up, Adam, like we wanted to about Melanie last time too.
Okay.
Along the same line, because we talked about Melanie a little bit last time, and some people in the comments thought we were insinuating that Melanie should have a pass, that she shouldn't be accountable for anything she may have said or done or didn't say that maybe she should have said. Adam and I feel the same way about this. We don't think anyone who had any influence on the outcome here that is guilty of not being able to make that difference, we don't think anyone should have a bye. Whether we know them, love them, if someone, so Alex, we love Alex, Lori, anyone else, if it's proven that they've done something wrong, and we've all seen the same evidence in Melanie, we wish she wouldn't have got caught up in this, but we don't feel any differently than the majority of people that feel that everyone should be accountable. And Emma and Garth and Chad's children, first of all, I hate that Chad is dragging his children through this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the worst thing you could do in this life to your children. I can't imagine anything worse other than killing them and discarding their bodies so rudely. But still, if they are complicit, they should pay the price for it, face we all want justice for the victims. Okay. Not because we have something against Emma and Garth. Okay. So we do have something against Chad and Lori, but that's not why. We want justice for the victims. Adam, you might be able to say that better than I.
Well, here's what I know. Emma and Garth, a lot of people are saying they're pre-programmed. This is a lot of people are saying, how Chad got, his family involved in the light and dark spirits, and apparently they were all in on it. Maybe even Tammy knew about it, or that's what I've understood, that they're pre-programmed what to say. Everybody who watched them on the stand pretty much everybody has the same opinion, that they're pre-programmed to say certain things, and nobody believes a word that's coming out of their mouths. And then I guess Emma, I guess, was on Court TV, and same results, is that nobody believes. And when Melanie was a witness, and Melanie was on TV or whatever, people said, "Oh, I could totally tell she's lying." So everybody has their perception of what people do because of what evidence they have against those people, what text messages they've seen, and then they develop their own opinions about what this person did. And so I think a lot of people are going to be on the same path of they're lying. And when you go in court and you're supposed to tell the truth, that doesn't always happen, apparently. And this is where we're never going to get the full truth, I believe, is that people are holding back what they know or what they were involved in. And obviously people do it to save themselves from going to jail or whatever the case may be. Well, I don't think we're ever going to get the full story from anybody that's been testifying of what they really knew or what they believed, or if they're going to say, "I was a complete idiot. I fell for this and I was part of it." I don't think we're ever going to see that. So obviously everybody has pretty much the same opinions about, his children, Melanie Gibb, Zulema. I think they're all grouped into a whole bunch.
Yeah, we would love to hear that from them. The people that were involved in it. Hey, I messed up. I bought into it. I believed it. We'd love for him to come forward like that, but it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that we'll all have varying opinions on it, but we want justice served, as much justice in this life as can be served. Those of us believe in a life after usually hope that total justice will be served then, but we want as much as we can get in this life, especially in this case. Now, none of that addressed SJ's question here.
Oh, great. We just wanted to, there was this therapy for us to get stuff out.
We needed to get that out.
We had to get that out depending on what question.
And I don't have an answer to this, but some of you in the comments might, so please comment it up. The question is, for those who aren't reading, during her testimony, did Emma say it was hard seeing her dead, or did she say it was hard watching her die? That would be a significant,
huge
little change. And we found this week there were little things that really weren't so little when they came out in court. So
and here's the comparison that I want to make, because I guess it was Garth that said his story changed. I walked in and saw Tammy laying there, or she wasn't dead, or she was dead. So there's been conflicting stories, just like when Charles got killed. I heard 5 different stories about where Lori was, where Alex was, where Tylee was, and what happened. 5 different stories that were all different. And same with when Tammy was found dead. Nothing matched exactly the way everybody said. So there's a lot of lying going on, obviously. Again, we're not going to know exactly what happened. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Chalita Tippins, I think, wants some validation from other people, and I think you're going to get a lot of it on this, Chalita. She asked, what do you think about Emma Daybell being so upset about Tammy to cheat on her Fitbit, but doesn't seem to have a problem with Chad cheating on Tammy? Boy, aren't there a lot of disparities like that in this case? Really, you care about this, but not about that?
Yeah.
Like Chad, the one that irks my wife to no end is Chad saying, well, I can't get divorced because it'll affect my exaltations, so I'll kill her. That's just
right.
How do you even think like that?
Yeah. There's well, obviously that's how the thinking was with this whole thing.
Yeah. Okay, Adam, here's a different subject.
All right.
We're all inquiring minds want to know. This from Robin Dahl. My question is Adam open to my matchmaking skills? I have a really great friend, smart, beautiful, loves pickleball. She's also hilarious, and laughter is so great for healing. Let me know.
She will not be interested in me. I can tell you that. She
Yes,
she will
Robin.
she will find some serious things wrong and be like, nope, nope, let's not go there. I don't know. It's so hard to try to figure out, what to do and what not to do with dating and but I'm on track to find somebody. So yeah, that's all I can say.
So maybe open to her matchmaking skills. We shall see.
We shall see.
Boy, talk about non-committal. I hear nothing. Did you say something?
Who?
You.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I
Is it-
did.
Well,
What is the question? Is does she want to set me up with her friend? Is that it?
the question is, are you open? Is that a
Oh,
maybe,
open.
definite maybe? Yeah.
What? Yeah, I'm open. Sure.
Okay.
Send send your pictures and resumes to Rex and let him go through it first. And if Rex approves, then he'll send them to me.
Actually, Lisa's a good matchmaker, but I
Yeah,
should get
really.
the guy perspective definitely.
What's funny about that is you think that, oh, he'll be perfect for you. You guys will get along, and then she'll get to know me and be like, oh, then maybe not so good.
See, that's why we can't use Lisa in the process because what credibility does she have? She chose me. So
Right. Again, here we are, the three of us.
now I, on the other hand, have great credibility.
Yeah, because you picked Lisa.
Exactly. Okay. Kathy McDowell asks, I enjoyed your book. Thank you, Kathy.
Yes, thank you for reading it.
And please write a positive, all of you, please write a positive
Review.
review on Amazon. Did Kaylee also draw the pic of the kids inside before the family tree? No, Adam, tell us about that pic from South Africa.
What picture?
Do you remember the picture from South Africa in the book from our optimist in South Africa?
I do not.
You were the first one to see it. You said, oh, we have to include this.
Okay, so this is where you're right. When I got that email, I said we got to put this in the book, and then I said we got to put comments of people in the book too, because all these things started coming.
Yeah.
You have a book with you?
I happen to have one with me.
Oh, good, because I gave you all my copies, so hopefully I don't have any copies. I was like, hey, can I get a book? I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, and just these are just optimists and people that found our podcast and just wanted to share with us things because Tylee and JJ really changed a lot of people's lives. Just thinking about their life and what they went through, and so for them to draw that picture, I was like, we got to add that to the book. It was amazing. So yeah.
All right, very good. Let's go to the next one. Adam, do you have any interest in Summer's interview with Nate Eaton happening at CrimeCon this weekend to hear what she shares?
Sure. I'm always interested in what Summer has to say.
Yeah.
I love Summer and I support Summer. Summer and I may not agree on everything, but the more that Summer and I spend time together talking, I see her side and her points more, and she sees my side and my points more, which then we're kind of opening up to each other's what she went through, where I was opposite of what she went through. I went through something completely different. So now listening to her and her listening to me, we both, I think, are coming to that. Oh, well, that makes sense, and this makes sense. I understand why you thought that or why you know, acted this way or whatever. And she knew the same way for me. And as far as like Nate Eaton, I think he's a great interviewer. Nate knows a lot about this story, probably more than most people. And Nate and Summer have a really good relationship. Nate's a great guy, and Summer feels comfortable with Nate. So I hope that from what Summer told me, she's going to be at CrimeCon and she's going to be on a panel where I think people are going to ask her questions. At least I hope. and she's just kind of concerned about, she's not concerned about telling anybody anything. She's concerned about how people are going to take what she says.
Yeah. Yeah, that I think people don't understand how difficult that is, would be for anyone. But think what Summer did. Now, I've always been a fan of Summer's ever since she was 2 years old and flipped me off swimming in the pool there, Adam.
Yes.
A classic family story.
She grabbed your heart at that moment.
A little
That's a girl for me. That's my new favorite niece.
So I've been a fan of Summer's, but boy, to be in court with her, we were both in court in Lori's trial when she was testifying. She wasn't there to observe court. Yeah. And she was sitting there when they played that riveting, horrific phone call between Summer and Lori when Lori was in prison. Yeah. And then after that, she had to answer questions from the defense and the prosecutors. Good grief. That I just, my admiration knows no bounds for Summer. So yeah. I'm interested. You didn't ask, but I'm interested in what she says too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alicia, contributor last time, $4.99 super sticker, again contributes. Thank you. And
thank you, Alicia.
Along that note, there is someone we saw after, when we're scrolling afterwards that we didn't acknowledge last time. And so we wrote down the name and promptly lost it, but we'll find out who it was to thank them.
Thank you, though, for your donation. It's fantastic.
Yes, okay. And then on the heels of that, Winch Gritton, there is no doubt that the children told Chad's lies in their testimony, meaning Garth and Emma. What will it take for them to understand that they are victims in a much bigger sense than losing their mother? And Winch, I know you aren't asking a question of Adam and I, because of course we don't know, but you're making a very valid and very poignant statement here and that's why I said I'm going to hold off judgment on the Daybell children, because I know they're adults and all that, but I can't imagine what they've been through. And so I'm not justifying any lies, especially lies in court, lies for Chad. I'm not justifying that at all. But I think this is a good point. At some point in their lives, they're probably going to understand even more, a lot more than they do now. This changes their life, and not for the better, and probably for the rest of their lives. What do you say, Adam?
So with the Daybell kids, from what I'm understanding is Chad has programmed them at a young age to believe in his system. And whatever system he has, because Rex and I have talked about, he's probably changed it so many times. It doesn't stick with the same thing. But the whole principle of light and dark and all this, him being a higher being and all that stuff, it seems like some of his children, I don't know all of them, but some of them seem that they're locked in. Like that's their belief. And I was thinking about this when I was thinking about, my mom and Summer when they went on TV, and they were like, well, Lori would never harm the kids, because in their minds, there's no way that can happen. And if you're the Daybell kids, your mom is dead, never coming back. Your dad is facing the death penalty or jail for the rest of his life. So I'm sure there's a panic mode in your brain that whether you're programmed or maybe you are not programmed, whatever it is, I feel like maybe they have I only have my dad that's alive now to try to get him out of jail. And so that may be where they're at. I have no idea. I'm speculating everything, but I'm saying if I'm putting myself in their shoes and I'm coming to grips that this is, there's no good that's coming out of this. That may be what they think, but again, everybody has their own opinion of what they think is why the Daybell kids would be testifying what they're testifying. Like what's behind that?
That's just well said. I can't imagine being in that situation.
Yeah.
Because like us, we always say it's so difficult that people you know and love have killed people you know and love. And it is. Can you imagine they have that dynamic, maybe even worse.
Yeah.
You know,
With their
because
mom, their
maybe
dad killing their mom.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's beyond the pale, and to put them through that, I know we're supposed to be able to forgive, and that wasn't done to me. So forgiveness doesn't matter if I forgive or not. But I cannot get over Chad doing that to his children.
Yeah.
Cami Day, another Cami has donated in the past. Big
Yay,
donation.
Cammy.
Cami, good to see you
We
guys.
love Cammy.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Both the donation and the good weekend wish. I'm having a good weekend. Lisa's she gets in town in about 5 hours, so I'll have a good weekend.
Once she gets there.
Sassy Pants asks your thoughts on Garth and Emma's husband's testimony. I'm underwhelmed with the testimony, but I still feel like I just stated about Garth and Emma. Adam, anything different from you?
No, and I'm wondering, like, do the spouses of the Daybell children, like, are they buying into that too, into Chad's whole thing? Because they weren't as kids programmed because they're adults and they married. So, yeah, my mind is going back to Matt as well, being Chad's brother, and the things that he's experiencing and thinking, and being judged, and all these things that I understand him. I think a lot, and I want to get to talk to him a little bit more.
Tell us a little bit more about that, Adam. Not everyone may have heard about the memorial service and you meeting Matt and Heather. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Well, so at the memorial service, I got a chance to meet Chad Daybell's brother Matt and his wife Heather. Heather has been very vocal about her and I were kind of on the same wavelength, while she was in Idaho and I was in Arizona, both of us crying wolf, and nobody's listening to either one of us on either side. And we're like, how do you guys not see this? These are all huge red flags. Why isn't anybody doing anything?
Let me interrupt a second, Adam, because when you cry wolf, it's a false cry.
Oh,
you were
sorry,
not crying a false cry, but you were crying out and no one believed you, which is what happened to the person that cried wolf. So you
right
off.
True. I did screw that up, but you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
So with that being said, I feel like, oh well, this is something that I can relate to. And then poor Matt, having to deal with, oh my gosh, my brother is this person. Just like I had to come to grips with, Lori has changed and Lori is now this person. So with that being said, I got a chance to talk to Matt Daybell at the memorial, and I was just, we both kind of just have so much to say and go through stuff, and we have very small time to talk, that at some point I would love to get him and Heather, or one of them or both of them, and really just sit down and do a chit chat and just chit chat about everything that went down on his side. It's almost like things that were going on in Idaho with his family was going on with me and my family, because they got cut off, or if they told their parents, no, don't, so kind of the same thing. So, yeah, it's got to be a very difficult thing for the kids, for Chad's family, to come to grips with all this, like it was for me and my family to come to grips with it.
And it was beautiful, being the fly on the wall when Matt and Adam were talking, just that they could connect. And Matt said, when I saw you, Adam, whatever it was, the interview or one of the shows you did, he said, there's the person I need to talk to. That's the person that will understand me.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Tabitha, thank you for the sticker, the super sticker there.
Yes, thank you, Tabitha.
Yeah. We love any amount. We just love the fact that you would think enough of us to donate, and thank you. Those are going to the nonprofit. Lee Gannon says, "Do you think Chad will get the death penalty or life in prison?" first we want to make sure he's guilty, and
Please,
I don't.
please don't let him get off on a technicality.
I have tried to imagine, and my mind can't quite go there. What would life be if there is a Chad Daybell that was out free and everyone knew it? Doesn't that just concern
It's
you? Because
scary.
I thought this about Lori. What if Lori got out? Who would be safe?
Yeah.
Certainly not you, Adam.
Well,
Certainly
not
me.
just that, but who knows if Lori would be safe? Like, who knows what, people in general, this story has generated so much anger with people. And so, yeah, the whole thing is like, Chad and Lori, they need to be in jail the rest of their life or they need the death penalty. Either one for me, I'm okay with either one of them. To me, they're kind of like the same because if you get the death penalty, and you could be in jail for years before you do the death penalty. But yeah, so either way, I don't know what, and hopefully the jury, makes the best decision of all the, and the prosecution did a great job of presenting. So hopefully they could see through Pryor's nonsense, and he did. I mean, he tried to put up a fight. He tried to. But he just everything got slapped in his face every time.
Yeah, he got a couple of jabs in, but no
Yeah,
blows, really.
no blows. Yeah,
Thank goodness. But he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, and we're grateful for
yeah. That's
it.
his job. That's his job.
Kathy McDowell asked, "Do you have to be in Facebook group to be an optimist?" No, Kathy. We welcome you as an optimist, and we call everyone that listens to our podcast an optimist. Maybe not everyone wants that title. I say it as a badge of honor. Adam and I met one person, said, "Yeah, I've heard your podcast." "Oh, are you an optimist?" "No, but I've heard your podcast."
I'm a pessimist.
Yeah, we said, okay, fair enough. But Kathy, yes, you are an optimist. If you are part of this great group and you're commenting. Less than 10% of the optimists take the opportunity or have the opportunity to comment. We love all the optimists, whether they comment or not. But of course, Kathy, you comment regularly, and we love to consider you an optimist. I hope you accept that title.
Or tell us what you want us to call you. We'll call you whatever you want. You can be special.
Okay, Adam, here's one for you. What would you say to Emma or Garth if you ran into them on the street? And I'll say, and you recognize them. Because I
would say, okay, so let's start from the beginning. And I would just ask them, so at what point did Chad tell you about light spirits and dark spirits? And what was your initial thought when he told you that? And just ask him more questions about that. I would ask him more questions about, tell me about your mom. Like what did you, what was your relationship with your mom more? And I just get more into depth with that. But more than anything, I feel like I can read people. So I would be able to understand what they're saying and know if they're lying or not lying or whatever. But those are the questions that I would ask. What about you, Rex?
I don't know that I'd ask them anything. I think I'd give them each a big hug and say, I am so sorry you have to go through this.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's going to be for the rest of their life.
Yep.
And so I don't think they would tell me anything different than they've said to the rest of the world. So I don't know that I would try to get something out of them.
Yeah.
I just tell them how I feel, and that's what I'd feel for them. You know, Garth, you saw him on one person interviewed him in his yard at his house, and just kind of a meek, good guy. And for him to have to go through, I feel sorry for anyone that has to go through this.
Yeah.
Again, guilty or not, it's for his children to have to go through this is terrible, I think. Burberry Venom. After last calls from Chad Delore, I had an impression she was thinking about giving away the kids, but he insisted kids should die. What she said if we did what I had in mind.
Yeah, I think that too. I think at some point there's been some phone conversations that I wasn't aware of until I heard, once court started, that I feel like at some point Lori was looking for an out, not to do anything with the kids, to do something different. She knew that Chad said our mission is we can't have kids. We're collecting the 144,000. We're doing this, and she wanted to do that, and she felt like, oh, I'm special. I need to be doing this, and I can't do it with kids. That maybe that was her first initial thing. Was like, hey, but if God wants it this way, then this is the way it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm of a little bit different opinion. I know we don't have different opinions on much, but I think what you said is probably accurate, but there's also the money thing. And I think Lori was locked into that and ruthless about it because she was going to make money on the kids dying.
And Charles, she thought she was going to get $1 million from Charles.
And she was going to get money from each of the kids dying. And
yeah,
that was a big thing for her. Them having a lot of money is a big thing for Chad, is a big thing for Lori.
Yeah, agreed.
I think that overshadowed any raise of humanity that may have been trying to break to the surface. I just don't give her that much credit.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kathy Somerville asked, why does everyone talk so soft? I notice it on everyone but your niece. Even her ex, Brandon, talks so soft.
Talking soft as because Rex and I are loudmouths.
By comparison,
they're probably just like talking normal, and just because you and I are just like big loudmouths, that everybody's like, oh, everybody's so quiet in their family. Yeah. These two.
Oh, Kathy, you stumped us. We don't know. We didn't know they did talk softly.
I do notice that Brandon talks softly. I think Melanie talks soft too. Who else?
If you've been with Brandon during a sports event, especially a BYU football game, you don't have an impression that he talks softly.
Right.
So,
but maybe in court, this is where everybody saw him testify. I'm sure that's a whole nother. Yeah. I think there's a whole tone once you're in court. I didn't go to the court, but Rex is telling me that there's a reverence. There's something different about being in the court, the way you feel, the way you talk, everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a pretty quiet place, somber place. Yeah. I would call it.
I guess if I have to go testify in Arizona in Lori's case, they're gonna be like, sir, could you please calm? You're too loud. You're overbearing the microphone.
So K and J Mom asked, how and do you have any conversations with family members without asking for answers? Just because of reality, I think. Adam, you'll be a better one to answer this, but no one in our family at this point, when I say no one, I'm talking about the people you're talking about, that we would ask things to that are involved in this. No one's going to tell us anything different. In fact, no one may tell Adam and I anything because of the podcast, even though we say we won't talk about it. So it's pretty easy. We don't expect any new answers. We've talked everything through that we can think to talk about, or that we can talk about with the various family members. It's different from each family member, and we aren't going to hear anything different. So we just face reality and go on the way we can. Adam, what's your take on it?
Are they talking about any family member or just the ones that people want to know more from?
I think the ones that would have answers to give us that we're.
Oh, yeah. Question. I mean, I've asked every question that I could ask to members of my family, and sometimes I get an answer that I'm okay with, and sometimes I get an answer like, I don't know if I'm all in on that.
Bianca asked, JJ's service dog was sold and then Tylee was taken from JJ. Do you know with his autism if he is able to say to someone he was sad or angry?
Don't know any of that.
Yeah, by the time the service dog was given back right to the service people right before they moved, and all of this was coming to a head and they moved to Idaho. So I haven't had any interaction with him since several months before that. So I don't have an answer either. Sorry about that, Bianca. We said ask anything, and then we'll answer what we
What we
can
know. Yeah.
or choose to. Yeah.
We're not going to make up anything.
LB Mack, do you think Pryor subconsciously put his last witness on to kind of disprove Chad? I mean, it's pretty brutal to the defense. Let's not leave out the possibility it was just a mistake, but good. Yeah. That's good insight, LB Mack.
Well, maybe he's like, all right, Chad, I tried to defend you, but this last one, this is where you're going to pay a price. Now, here we go. Yeah.
Or he may have been thinking this is do or die, or I have a good idea. Who knows what
it's a maybe it's a Hail Mary, and most Hail Marys get knocked down. Only very few get caught in the end zone.
Those are the ones we remember. Yeah, so subconsciously, was he trying to undermine his case? Who knows? Subconsciously, who knows? Because so much goes on there. But remember, Pryor did not have much valid to work with. Think of trying to defend Chad. How are you going to do it? That's what I thought Pryor was doing. I think one of his tactics was whenever the prosecution scored, because there's a big emotional testimony, regardless of what it was, Pryor would get up and right away start talking about something that didn't matter and hasn't come up again, or hasn't come up in the context of anything.
To take away the emotion
matters, to get out of the emotion.
Yeah.
And to deflect, to distract. I think Pryor was pulling out all of the tricks that he has learned as a lawyer all this time.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's trying them all.
He's making a lot of people mad, though. Everybody's like, that Pryor, oh, he gets under my skin.
But LB Mack, you may have more insight on this. I appreciate that you asked the question to us. You may have some more insight you want to share. Please share it in the comments.
Sure.
We love to hear. Well, we're all wildly speculating, so
yeah,
we love to hear it. Kay and welcome back. Apparently, Emma talks to Chad almost every day. Do you know who and how often anyone else is talking to Lori?
I think my mom talks to Lori. She's the only one that I know that talks to her, and I don't know how regular that is.
Yeah, and I don't have any insight there. Okay, interesting insight here in this question. Damasio, that's Italian. Over the last 5 years, is there any specific day or moment where you felt the most hope and faith that everything will be all right?
That's a good one.
I've got a couple, and then I'll let you think at them.
Go ahead.
One, when Lori was found guilty, because until then, you just don't know. You don't know what the jury's thinking, what they understand. You don't know until the verdict comes out. And that's why I went to court then, because I just wanted to be there and experience the whole emotional revelation there. And the fact that the jury could see through all this stuff gives me great hope for this jury also, for Lori's jury in Arizona, and any other bits that come about. Of course, believing in the life after, I mentioned, I have faith that ultimate justice will be served eventually. But being a human, I want as much of it in this life, not for me, but for everyone else. Sorry, I say that in jest. I do want as much justice for these criminals as there can be.
Well said.
So when Lori was found guilty, that I didn't even know how much weight I was carrying, worrying about it, until they announced she was guilty. Adam?
Well, the whole time that, me knowing that they're guilty, that wasn't weighing on my mind. If the court or anybody's going to find them guilty, I don't see how they can't. So I wasn't worried at all, because these are all slam dunk case. This Chad and Lori's are both slam dunks. So we know what happened. Everybody knows what, the behind the scenes, the story, what they did, all that stuff. So I've never really worried about either one of them getting off. I really don't worry about that, because I feel like everybody can see what's coming. There's been days though where, I go back and forth and think about, what changed, or, was there anything that I could have said or done to Lori or Alex to prevent any of this from them going down this road. So those days are hard for me, because I feel like, at some point when, Lori starts talking about into the world and stuff, and I'm like, gosh, Lori, that doesn't sound right. This isn't, something you should be getting into. And, if you remember the church, and I go back and tell Lori and Alex, I was like, I know you guys are thinking that, there's all these extra things, but if you listen to the prophet, or if you listen to scriptures, if you read scriptures, Christ says, become as a little child. So just stay basic with principles of the gospel, and you'll be fine. So, but obviously I can't make decisions for them. I can't tell them, once I guess you make up your mind and you're doing something, you're doing something. So sometimes I fight back and forth with that. If I could have done even more to try to, tell them not to go down that road, but I didn't know what road they were going down, to be honest with you.
Right. And while we're being philosophical, Mimi's love comment here. Do you believe that all religion taught from childhood is indoctrination? Not that it's wrong, but maybe it is like that for his kids. Being an individual and deciding things takes time. I'll give my belief on it, Adam, and you can
Sure.
give yours. Yeah, I think as parents, having participated in raising our 5 children, I tried to indoctrinate them in everything. In all of my values, I tried to indoctrinate them. Societal values, politics, how we act at school, how we act with other people, church, all of it. Yeah, I tried to indoctrinate them. Then when they declared their independence, which had nothing to do with their age, especially with my kids, especially with my son Scotty, whose birthday is today. Shout out to Scotty, happy birthday. He declared his independence pretty early in life. Then my attempts to indoctrinate ended, and I got a lot better at trying to understand them and observing the decisions they were making. And once in a while, they would ask for some input from me, and so I would give that input. But yeah, I think we try to indoctrinate our kids in all of our values, or at least I did as a parent. I don't know if you did, but that includes religion. I don't think that's wrong. I don't think trying to get them to believe like I believe is wrong. Trying to force it on them. I mean, I wasn't. Well, you'd have to ask my kids if I was overly
If you forced them into it. But
right.
Look, as kids, if you have parents that grew up going to church, they're going to raise you going to church. I mean, I think I think that's just in life. That's just what happens. Whatever religion you are, I think that's just a ongoing thing. And if you grew up not going to church, and you have kids, and you participate in not going to church, they don't go to church unless they find something that they want to do, or a friend invites them to church and they really like it. So I think if that's where this is going, sure, I think a lot of parents, want to instill things that they believe, or something that they think is good. Otherwise, if it's not good for them, why would they? Like, I don't know why parents wouldn't install something that wasn't good for them. Like, if you want the best for your kids, you want your kids to be better than you. You want your kids to experience life and be way better than you, and have it better than you. We all want that for our kids. So if you think it's good as a parent, that's what you give to your kids. But then again, kids have their own their own conscience, their own free will, to do what they feel like they should do. And so that's something as a parent, sure, I guess that could be frustrated for some parents, but you got to let everybody make their own choices. And so I guess sometimes we get wrapped up to that. And whatever Chad taught his kids, at the time, maybe Chad thought this is the best thing, for my kids. Who knows what Chad was like 20 years ago or 10 years ago? I have no clue.
And I don't even want to find out at this point.
You're like,
So,
no thanks.
Shine Music Magazine asks, does LDS really discourage divorce that much? And the follow-on, are you both still LDS? You're asking two men that are both still LDS and both divorced. So, the church didn't try to stop me. The church teaches very positive things about marriage and staying married, but they don't go, you can't, it's not, some religions during history have forbidden divorce. I don't think the LDS church has ever done that. But I think when people think about the church, they think because they've heard of individual church leaders that may have come out and said, you shouldn't divorce. And there are a lot of individual members in our family. I was the only one of my four siblings to get divorced. And I had people in my family talk about how I was not an honorable man because I divorced. So it's people that have those opinions.
Yeah.
The church isn't structured so you can't divorce. Adam, what's your thought?
Exactly. The church isn't structured so you can't divorce. There's a lot of people in the church that are divorced. And it's a I guess sometimes when you think about religion and trying to stay on the straight and narrow, yes, being married is a great thing. Commandments, replenish the earth. All those things go into a lot of religions. So, but sometimes it just doesn't work out, and it's one of those things in life that we have to move forward and live and continue to do the best that we can do.
Lisa discovers, speaking of matchmaking, we know Lori encouraged Alex and Zulima's marriage. Encouraged is one word. I would say directed.
Yes.
Do you think she was, I don't know that. Do you think she was matchmaker with Mel P and Ian? We don't know, or I don't know. But I can see it all happening at the same time. And I believe, with no evidence whatsoever, that Lori and Chad told Melanie, go get married. We need you. You have to be married to be one of the leaders we want you to be.
I believe that too. I think from what I understand, I think Melanie met her husband. What's his name? Ian. I think they met on a dating site, is what I was told. And so that's a strange thing, because if Melanie is going along with Chad and Lori about this 144,000, they're saying, hey, you need to get married. Melanie meets this guy online, and very soon they get married in Vegas. And the next day, Alex gets married to Zulima, like back to back in Vegas at a white chapel. Those are all hurried marriages, forced quick marriages. Those are all red flags. I don't care what anybody says. Those are red flags. And that's what I think happened. I don't know if Ian was involved in it or knew anything about why Melanie wanted to get married so fast, or that part I just don't know. But I do believe that was a thing that happened. And I could be completely wrong. My mom may think that, it's completely different than that story. And so, and everybody has their own opinion on what they think happened.
Doreen D asks, after watching Chad's trial, I'm more inclined to think Lori, as guilty as she is, really believed Chad, that Chad was more the mastermind. Do you agree? Adam, you know what I'm going to say, so I'll let you go first.
You don't want me to steal your line for you?
You can use
it.
Famous.
No, I'm gonna let it for you. I think there's two minds behind it. Chad may be the one behind the dark spirits and all that. But again, it takes two to make this huge plan of killing everybody. It's not just Chad saying, kill, kill, kill. Or if he is, Lori's going along with it. So it doesn't matter who the mastermind is. It matters who's involved in it. Really, the mastermind doesn't play a trick on it. I could care less if it's Lori or Chad. What I care about is they were all in on it. They all believed it. They all, were dumb enough to do these things. So that's my take on it.
I believe Lori accepted what Chad said and fit it into her alternative reality. If you asked her straight up when she first heard it, she'd say, no, that's crap. But it's what she wanted to believe. She fit it into her alternative reality. And from then on, she, quote, believed it.
Yeah.
My thought on the mastermind, Adam's heard this a lot. My thought is there were no masterminds in this group. These were evil idiots. A mastermind kind of insinuates some intelligence. There wasn't a nickel's worth of intelligence between the two of them. They're idiots, okay?
True.
And they're evil. So I don't think there was a mastermind. I think they both came up with these idiotic ideas and fit them together and adjusted them. The fact that Chad taught his kids light and dark, and that in their family they talked light and dark about other people, that didn't have anything to do with killing the kids. They didn't make that crap up until it served their purpose. And maybe that purpose was, we've got to get Al fired up enough to kill the kids. Let's make up this crap about zombies and dark kids, etc. And they're just making stuff up as they went. They were evil idiots, is my take on it. Sorry, I get a little emotional about that.
Yes.
So, Adam, we've been going as hard as we can for an hour now, answering the questions, and the list gets longer every time we answer one. How does that work?
Yeah, we're trying to go through as fast as we can.
I'd just like to say I appreciate, this is TV Techno. I'd just like to say I appreciate the positive approach and optimism you both bring to the community. Thank you for not tearing anyone down. Wow, thanks for that, TV Techno, because we were going to talk about trolls, but now we don't have time.
We're out of time to really tear this down because we were going to tear some trolls down. But okay, that's a good way to end on a positive note, because Silver Linings is about being positive. It's about finding positivity in all these negative situations. And everybody in life has negative situations. How do we deal with them? How do we handle these negative things that happen in our life? How do we turn them around and try to find something positive about it so we don't get so depressed about it or upset or, ruin your life? I've heard a lot of people put blame on stuff. Well, this ruined my life. Nothing can ruin your life. You're in charge of your own life. So I'm trying to find positive things in negative situations it can be a struggle. It can be hard, but then also, again, it can be very easy as well. It depends on attitude and how you deal with things. And so that's where our Silver Linings podcast is headed, towards that direction.
And I'll say this, since I said we're going to talk about trolls, let me just generally say what I was going to say. In the podcast we posted on Tuesday, there are 181 comments, 2 negative comments. 2 out of 181. The overwhelming majority of comments are loving and supportive. And not only of me and Adam, we love that and we appreciate it, and it does help us, but of each other. So this whole community is just wonderful. What we were going to say was, we think everyone can think of a little nicer way to say when we don't agree. So we may block a person once in a while if it's really, really rude or mean-spirited. And we have our great moderators who we forgot to thank, and all the other stuff. Mel and Missy are moderating. We're grateful to them. They kind of bear the brunt of the trolls, and not very many. I'd say 1 or 2 maybe.
Sure.
Once in a while, a little bit more than that, but they are very, they're the ones that get into that. And we don't like blocking people. We want to include people that want to be here. It's just that if someone just has this vitriol against me and Adam, why would they want to be here? And the other people in the community don't want to hear that. And there are some communities that thrive on that. More power to them. Please join them if you're the type of person that wants that. But we love the love that's in this community. We love the support for each other, the understanding for each other. I have a list here of about 4 posts I wanted to highlight today. Just wonderful. 2 of them on Facebook, one on one of the comments from the last podcast, another one in an email from us. Sorry, we aren't taking time for that. I mentioned to Lindsay, Adam, I said, why don't we do a podcast just of all the positive things we get? Because we could fill a whole podcast just with the positive comments.
No, no doubt.
But Lindsay didn't think that'd be that interesting. So I guess we need a few trolls once in a while to keep it industry. No shade there, Lindsay. We love you. Lindsay does so much for us, and Kimberly with Facebook and other things for us. We just appreciate it.
Yeah.
So a lot of positive stuff going on. We are so excited to be more and more of a resource for people that need them, and bring more resources in on 3 levels. One that, as we said, will just be the community. We'll just catalog everything so people can find help and podcasts and ideas that they need, no cost at all. We'll have Patreon. We'll have programs behind that will help people that want to participate in that. And we'll have a lot of professional referrals, like to Ben, like to Dr. Denham, like to Alice. They don't have to be registered professionals, but just people that are trained to maybe do peer-to-peer coaching like Alice. And Adam, I know you're anxious to get on the way here.
Yeah. And by the way, also I'm starting a new coaching business called Accountable. You can get the link in the description of this podcast. And basically, you're going to have to deal with me on a daily basis. You will be held accountable for the things that you say that you're going to do once we make a plan for you. And with that being said, this weekend, for Memorial Day weekend, Melanie, who's one of our moderators, is also helping me with Accountable. She did a $20 coupon to get off this weekend if you want to become part of the Accountable group and really make some strides in your life to be happy, positive, successful, all those things. And so those are things that are out right now.
And there are more super stickers, Adam, that we almost missed because they're here towards the end. Kim68, a $5 super sticker. Thank you. Joanne says, thanks for your authenticity. Please take care of yourselves. We are really conscious of taking care of our mental health because of all of your encouragement. And it's a much darker time right now than I thought it would be. But thank you for that donation also. And Sandy C, a $10 super sticker. Happy heavenly birthday to JJ. Definitely.
Yes.
This for you, Tylee, Tammy, Charles, and all who have been impacted. Adam and Rex, you're both loved and appreciated so much. Sandy from San Jose.
Thank you.
This is Sandy. I just met there last week.
Love it. Thank you, Sandy.
San Jose. And the name we love, Flutter by Butterfly.
Yeah.
With a donation, and thank you for that. And Lisa Discovers. Hi from a cautious optimist.
Yes, I like it. Cautious optimist.
Thank you to all of you. Thank you for participating. Again, we apologize for not getting to all these perfectly valid questions.
We may do another live on Tuesday to get to them all. So
we might. We've done that before. We might do that on Tuesday. So until then, take care.
All right. See you guys.